Welcome to my Literacy Lab presentation. This is a conceptual literacy lab intended for grades 6 through 12. This is based on the problem that Oklahoma graduation rates are dropping. Actually, graduation rates across the country are dropping. Recent data would suggest that mandated testing is a contributing factor. What we have over and over again is students are becoming faceless numbers on a test. They're disconnecting and checking out. Reading scores are down across the country. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. So a possible solution, a community-supported learning space that focuses on literacy, a rich, authentic, student-centered instruction that supplements school instruction and allows for creativity, flexible, adaptable workspace for creating, composing, designing, processing, playing, and understanding. There's a lot of research that supports this idea. Dewey is a strong influence on this idea. He believes in the importance of a social interactive process of learning. Ultimately, a cycle of learning that should take place within the space, both actual and virtual, includes imagining, creating, playing, sharing, and reflecting. So the possibilities, there's many possibilities for design on this. Of course, cost would be a factor, but the imagination could come up with quite a few ways that teenagers could engage with this. This is a basic representation of my idea for a literacy lab. To the right of your screen is the reading room. At its most basic, there would be chairs and tables to sit and read, to engage with the text in a non-distracting environment. The room on the left is the primary creation room. This is where all the processing of the reading would take place. A student could come in already having read, or they could go into the reading room and read. And once they're ready for some of the activities, they would come into the other side of the room. There would be coaches available. In the creation station, I could see that being tech-oriented with a lot of tools for composing virtual games, video, composing music. The creation closet, whatever resources were available. Of course, there's word processing for printing out, writing and composing whatever needs to be done for this. I think a big component of this would be the play area. This could be a table or several tables in the center of the room. This is where the students would come and share their work, present their work, play their work. This is where the kids would really have a chance to demonstrate what they've created, to become proud of the products that they have. So the first project, as an example, would be a simple project based on the first step of Bloom's taxonomy. This is simply to read and remember. A student might come in and they would either have something to read from school or be given something to read or choose something to read. And in this, they would simply focus on the events that were taking place. They would make a list of these events as they happened. Then they'd organize and rank these events into what they considered the most important moments within the books. And then using several templates that would be provided, they would create something playable, a game, a board game, something that they could do using these rankings where they would create points, rewards, punishments, or whatever to apply what they've read into something a little bit more fun, processing it a little differently. Examples of what this could look like. I've done this with Huck Finn, and on a very simple level, this is some examples of what some of these would look like. Convincing an unmotivated, uninterested learner to become an active reader, to grow as a reader, is an overwhelming challenge that educators face daily. Fundamentally, this lab will consider the learner as central to the heart of the education process. This comes out of our Shero textbook. Also, the lab understands that each learner is basically different in a different state of growth. According to Mayer, constructivist learning occurs when learners actively create their own knowledge by trying to make sense out of the material that is presented to them. And I think a big piece of this literacy lab would be for them to read and practice making sense out of what they read, to engage with the text a little bit differently. This would be a second project that was scaffolded from the first, and this would add focus now from the events. We would move to character and conflict. In this, they would again have a text either from class or when they selected. And here they would do the same thing, only this time they would focus on character and conflict events that took place. And they would write these down in a list and ultimately rank these. And then the product would be the same, only what you're going to see is a little bit higher level product, because now they're adding character elements to this, along with the importance that define these characters and the conflicts that take place. So some of the examples you're going to see in an environment such as this. The images you'll see are from the book Dune. I've done these with the 11th grader. What you immediately notice is the level of engagement. The cards were created, the board was created, the game was created, all this based on the conflicts and the characters within the novel. They used the idea from a popular game called Magic the Gathering, created cards, and created a board game to go with the cards that they created to this based on the characters and conflicts in the novel. Again, the nuance, the detail of the teenage mind is amazing when it comes to processing what they've read. Coaching and learning by doing. This is a very important component of the Literacy Lab. This is going to require whoever's in there to become more of a coach and a guide than a teacher. They would guide them through the examples, show them examples of what they're trying to do, help them along in the process as they need it, but simply be there as a coach when the students come and they're trying to process just how can they be creative. That's what the coaches would take on. The teachers would become the coaches. So third project, scaffolded from the second, would focus on conflict and themes. Here we're going to raise the bar a little bit to where now they're going to apply what they're reading to some outside concepts. So this time they would be given a theme with a specific book or whatever they're reading that they would be looking for. They'd study this theme a little bit so they had some sort of an understanding with it. And then as they read, they would pause to write down the specific moments and quotes they found that represented this theme as they understood it. Then they would, again, organize and rank these themes and conflicts within the book. And then at the last stage of this, they're going to find similar themes outside of the book. And they're going to gather quotes from some of the other authors and other works that represent these themes. And then here they're going to integrate their reading along with the outside themes, and they're going to create a digital media presentation of sorts that shows how they understand the themes as they were represented outside of the book and in the book. So an example of what this would look like is done with Albert Camus' The Stranger. The theme was existentialism. Pay attention to the quotes used both in and out of the book. So finally, coaching and guiding will be critical. The idea of a literacy lab is to provide a place that's unique to literacy instruction. While any of the examples can be done in a regular class, it's hoped that having a place that was created solely for the purpose of such projects would draw in the most reluctant of readers.